Tyson says he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
This is what I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his. So if it goes any other way, you know.
You give me the headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fixed, don't you?
Anthony Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
So he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now?
What do you think about the fight, Jake Paul?
I hate it. And Jake Paul's starting to piss me off.
Jake Paul's boxing career has been filled with bold call-outs and headline-making fights. But now, the YouTube star-turned-boxer may face his toughest challenge yet, Anthony Joshua. While Paul has gained a huge following and scored some notable wins, boxing experts are warning that fighting a two-time heavyweight champion like Joshua could be a huge mistake. With Joshua's knockout power and top-level experience against the best fighters in the world, analysts...
Jake Paul has reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nakisa, Jake's manager. It's never a fight we anticipated. It's never a fight we've targeted. But if you want Jake Paul to be the warm-up fight, and obviously financially it's a great opportunity for AJ, and you want to provide AJ and probably in turn Matchroom with the opportunity to extinguish Jake Paul from the world of boxing, then maybe AJ will oblige.
In a recent interview, Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn confirmed that Jake Paul is the leading candidate to face Anthony Joshua next. He said active talks are underway between Joshua's camp and Paul's manager, Nakisa Badarian. Hearn admitted, the fight would be very risky for Paul, but pointed out its massive commercial value. As of now, he believes the bout is...
Jake Paul's manager here last week, and he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nakisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridgie, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. I got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
The most shocking part is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. Paul hinted the fight is very likely next year, saying they've been exchanging DMs and that Joshua even called him to push the idea forward. Paul said Joshua suggested a late 2025 date, with the full fight expected in early 2026. His manager, Nakisa Badarian, supported this timeline, confirming that serious negotiations...
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Jake Paul has presented a potential fight with Anthony Joshua as a way to revive boxing. He believes the matchup would spark excitement, draw in new fans, and capture worldwide attention. Paul calls himself a breath of fresh air for the sport, saying his mainstream appeal can attract younger audiences who don't normally follow boxing. He insists the sport needs new energy and claims his presence can deliver that by bridging.
But you said it's you and Joshua here. Now, is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, you know, I'm global, so it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing. And people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight, and what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money, get in there, make fucking history. This is one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
The boxing community and fans have reacted strongly to Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua. Many believe Paul's plan to fight a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua is unrealistic and
the real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights, then he asked for the toughest fights ever and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo, Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects in Jake. But in the middle there, I don't know if she would know or, you know, whatever, but she essentially says that Jake was scheduled to fight Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional.
Critics argue that Jake Paul's recent choices, including his win over 58-year-old Mike Tyson, reveal a concerning trend in his boxing career. Many view his decision to fight an aging legend as more spectacle than real challenge, casting doubt on how serious he is about the sport. Well-known figures like Carl Fruck have dismissed Paul's performance as lacking real skill.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind if you think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony, he took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. He's not a joke. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He took an L there. But Jake Paul, I got the utmost respect of what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening. It's positioning. It's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face-to-face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's going to fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly going to be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3 because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Eddie Hearn admitted that a fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua would create huge buzz, but he also gave a strong warning. He said Paul is bold, maybe even reckless, for chasing a match with Joshua, a proven heavyweight star. While the money would be massive, Hearn stressed the serious danger of putting a novice like Paul against such an experienced veteran. He didn't hold back, calling the fight a possible disaster that could end Paul's boxing career.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but, you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh, well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But, as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul at the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like to see it.
Andre Ward weighed in on the topic, saying boxers don't get bothered when someone like Jake Paul calls out legends. Ward explained that if it happened to him, he wouldn't take it seriously, adding, I don't have time to entertain the circus. His comments make it clear that he sees Paul's fights more as entertainment than true boxing.
I understood where Canelo's coming from. Anybody for that matter. If, like you said, if you've been in a fire, how dare anybody come to me and act like I'm supposed to fight you and, you know, you're a YouTuber that turned to boxing and I'm a champion walking around here and y'all acting like I need him. Do you think they're justified in feeling annoyed when people come at them like that about Jake Paul?
I understand completely where Canelo's coming from. If I was an active fighter, I wouldn't entertain it either. You know, when you in the fire and you still in the game like that, you got real issues and beef going on. You got real opponents, like dudes that can really hurt you, that you need to figure out how to beat them and when we gonna fight and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to entertain the circus. I don't have time for you to have my name even associated with a dude that ain't really a fighter like that. So I understand completely with it. He ain't got a lot of time to entertain that kind of stuff, but you know how it goes, Stephen. And people say they're not interested in something until that number get large enough and all of a sudden start making a lot of sense.
Dave Farrar and Spencer Oliver pointed to the heated debate surrounding a possible Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, which gained even more traction after Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh weighed in. Speaking at Wembley, Al-Sheikh all but confirmed the bout, revealing that Paul had already given a verbal yes and even agreed to a massive 99-1.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although, yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just, obviously, as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake Paul, it doesn't sit right. Yeah, and it's like, I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight. Yeah. Anthony Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking point, I guess.
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. offered a cautious take on the potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, leaning on logic rather than hype. He admitted the bout could happen if Joshua was genuinely interested, but stressed it must make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Recognizing Joshua as a proven former world champion, Jones didn't hold back, stating, "Did you see how
I want to change subjects just a little bit here. And Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating. He could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Tyson Fury has stirred major debate with a bold prediction about a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. The former heavyweight champion claimed that Jake Paul chins AJ 100%. I'd back him, calling the matchup a genuine 50-50 fight. Fury even pledged a $1 million bet on Paul pulling off the upset. His comments shocked many in the boxing community, with critics dismissing the claim as unrealistic. Jake Paul, however, fired back with full confidence, saying he'd...
So Tyson Fury just comes out with an interview saying that he thinks Jake Paul will knock out Anthony Joshua. I think this is probably like a troll attempt to get Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury, but then again, I don't know. Maybe Alexander Usyk did more damage than we thought. I think Jake Paul knocks him out, Fury told Ring Magazine when asked about Paul versus Joshua. I just think Jake Paul would knock out Anthony Joshua out. I think Jake Paul is on the rise. I like his new heavyweight look, a bit chubby, a bit bulky, getting there. And he just did a great job over the aging. I mean, the fool was like almost 40, you know, and he like was not a fighter for a long time or a boxer. You know, he's just in it for the check and the name value of his dad, you know. Aging Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He was a middleweight, but still. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Who'd he call out? Tank Davis and Joshua? That's just crazy. I see Richter scale call-outs. Exactly. I will say, I don't know, Gervonta Davis could beat him too, even though he does outweigh him by like 60 pounds.
Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly criticized Jake Paul for picking opponents who are either not real boxers or past their prime. Paul defended himself, saying he tried to fight Tommy Fury, but Fury turned it down. This highlights a key issue in Paul's career. While he has beaten ex-MMA fighters and older boxers, he hasn't regularly faced young, active boxing talents. His loss to Tommy Fury in February 2023 was one of the few times he fought a current boxer in his prime. Smith also slammed Paul for choosing Mike Tyson as an opponent, arguing that if Paul is serious, he should fight boxers closer to his age and skill level. Instead of calling out veterans like Anthony Joshua, who have much more experience, Smith believes
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were throwing arm bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, you know, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me who Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out due to a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. You know, his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got scared.
Despite the criticism, Jake Paul says his goals go beyond boxing, showing interest in a fight with MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul claims his boxing skills keep improving, while hinting that McGregor's abilities are slowing down with age. Many doubt this because of McGregor's strong combat sports record and success. Still, Paul's comments show his confidence and his plan to call out famous athletes as a way to...
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top. I'm interested.